Well, I can say it was a great privilege for me to be able to go to Paraguay. I guess Roman asked me to share some of my observations and memories or whatever. There was another staff girl and I that flew down on the same trip, and it was quite a pilgrimage to get there. We showed up a day late, and so we get started on the way home the next day, and the campesinos had the ruta blocked off. And so the driver of the van, which is Josh Yoder, he just, parked on the highway, and, this was no big deal. It sounded like this is how things go. And that was kind of strange for a gringo, to see that this is no big deal. And so I guess it was probably part of the learning process that things are not a crisis necessarily when they don't go so well. And so that was kind of like my first initiation into how things can go there. Another thing I remember, and that is how the colony accepted me, and it seemed like they accepted whoever came. And as a general rule, they could expect that we weren't going to stay around for years and years. But I didn't get the feeling that they were going to just hold us off because they knew we'd leave again anyway. But they accepted us for who we were, and I felt very at home among the people there, and I thank you all for that. I have many fond memories of my times there. The one thing that stood out to me in my orientation in Lancaster before I ever went was how if somebody comes, you should not ask them what they want. Okay? So, fortunately I remembered that, or I tried to practice that. And so when visitors would come, we would sit around or do whatever, and then eventually, if they were really in a hurry, they'd say what they wanted. So, but I enjoyed meeting these people. I worked with Federico. And a lot of you know who he is. And so that was a privilege to work with him and talk with him over TED a day. And we would sit out there, and sometimes I'd go in the clinic and get an encyclopedia, and we'd find out why volcanoes blow up or whatever. We just talk about lots of neat things, and I enjoyed those times. I believe I was also the first maintenance man there who got a second maintenance man there on staff as full-time maintenance, two of us. And Joby, where are you? I'm not sure if I don't see him right off here, but
he's outside.
Oh, okay, so wait. Okay, he's outside, I guess. But I was very, very blessed to have someone there to help. And I am probably pretty biased in my view, but I feel like our group of staff there, they were hard to beat. They were just pretty good. So, so you can, but it's good if we all feel that way about the group we serve with. So that's kind of my sentiments, I guess, for myself. I have memories of going back to La Belleza, and the clinic was open there. I served from 2008 to 2010, and Roman and I, you know how it is. You always work together if you need to, and do halfway runs, and Roman usually had a lot of things going back there, and I don't think I got very much done for him. I'm sorry. So Roman has a lot of good ideas, and he's still full of good ideas. So I was blessed by getting to know Roman there. And let's see here. Some memorable experiences. I had Spanish class with Teodosio, and so I learned what a motor grader is from him. They were redoing the colony roads right then. And so that was, Spanish class was pretty rough. My mind was exhausted after the 6 weeks or however long it was that we studied. on patient transfers. I had one experience where there was a baby born with an open spine, and when I came to Paraguay, I was just astounded at how incompetent the people could be. You know, it's like, okay, when's the part coming in? Well, we don't know. Otro dia, you know? Okay. Oh, wow, that's really helpful. Well, this patient transfer kind of went like that. We took the baby to somewhere, that first hospital south, somewhere of Asuncion, that had a pediatric ward. And we went in there, got the baby admitted, trying to help the parents get a lodging place at hospedaje around there somewhere. And so apparently Paraguay was playing some big soccer game, and I followed what the guard there at the little guardhouse told me to do. You know, go over to somewhere that's where they take care of these people. And I got in there and looked around, and it looked like supper was a big bowl of soup or something, and nobody around really. And I saw people upstairs watching TV, and couldn't find any staff to help me out to get these people where they need to go. And so I went back to the guardhouse and told them that there's nobody down there, you know, to help me out. I was like, oh, the soccer game's over. They're done watching TV now. They'll help you now, you know. So I was like, okay. So I went back out there and talked to some people, you know, who were staying there, and they said there's no staff here on the weekends, you know. So it was like the guards didn't really even know what was going on. So it kind of stood out to me, you know, how. Come on, you know, they didn't even know what's going on out there, and it was a part of their hospital administration, you know, organization, at least from what I can see. But we finally got things straightened out and found a place for this couple to stay. Another highlight of mine was Bible school. All those little children coming to Bible school, we'd all crowd into the little church there at Pre-Medellina and sing some songs. And that was a highlight for me. I enjoyed very much getting into a little bit of agriculture. You know, I didn't grow up that way, but milking a cow with a surge milker, that was that was an interesting experience for me. And I think I actually had kind of an active interest in things, agriculture, and so that was enjoyable to me. I also remember feeling fortunate of hearing about other maintenance men who, you know, it was like, when that maintenance man was here, that septic tank broke. You know, it was like shot or something, you know. And I'd hear maybe another maintenance man, this was his building project over here. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I wasn't there when that happened. I feel like God had us all there at the time He wanted us, and it was a real blessing to be there. Maybe something else memorable that I remember, I was sitting at the computer one day, and in the breezeway there, I saw this figure come in there, and you know, you tend to look around, and here was a drunk man in the breezeway of the house. And so that was kind of an interesting experience to talk with him, and you know, eventually, you know, it wasn't a big deal. It all worked out great. So I kind of came to understand that anything can happen in Paraguay, just anything. And now since I'm home, it's kind of like anything can happen at home too. I thought when I got to Paraguay, the shop, look at those tools. Who can work in here? You know, table saw was just, I couldn't believe this. And then as my time came to a close, I was like, going home, I don't know what I can even do there. There's no tools at home. The shop really had a lot of tools. They were just, you know, kind of had their issues. But you could work with those issues and make, you know, you could do what you needed to do. And so Paraguay taught me how to be more open-minded to improvising and, you know, making things that work, even if the tools you have are not real outstanding. And so It was a great blessing to be there. I served under with Maynard Swarry, Maynard and Cynthia, and Linford and Monica Bender. So those were the administrators I worked with, and it was a privilege for me to work with them. Thank you.